Hello everyone, welcome back to a very special video. I'm DTM as always, and we have with us the version 7.3.0 update for March 2023. And this is super exciting because as you can see, we have a new selection of divine codes and a bunch of new refines and whatnot. And I'm so excited. Divine codes are so amazing. One of the best additions FEH has added in recent times. And yeah, super excited to get into it and go over them. As always, if you like the content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell, all that jazz to help support the channel. Only takes 5 seconds to subscribe, but it truly does help out the channel a lot. And I really do appreciate all the constant support. So yeah, let's dive into this update right away. So the first thing we have is the remixes that will be happening this month. Now, as we can see, we have Celica up for a remix. And Celica here comes with Soul of Sophia 2, which now neutralizes effects that guarantee foes follow-up attacks, and effects that prevent units follow-up attacks during combat. If unit initiates combat, unit can make a follow-up attack before foe can counterattack. And also, at the start of combat, if unit's HP is greater than or equal to 25%, inflicts speed -5 on foe, and reduces the percentage of foe's non-special damage reduction skills by 50%. So compared to the original Soul of Sophia, like the original Soul of Sophia just basically had that NFU and the Desperation effect was not guaranteed. She had to be below 75% HP in order to get that Desperation effect, which is obviously not ideal. So having that just be a condition to when she initiates combat is just a huge upgrade and makes her a lot more flexible. So yeah, I mean, she still has the NFU, she has the Desperation, but the new thing is when she exists, i.e. HP is greater than or equal to 25%, she basically has that -5 speed debuff and the dual leaf effect, I like to call it, where you can pierce through damage reduction. And as a nuke, Celica definitely appreciates this so much, and yeah, this will definitely make her into a lot more powerful unit. We'll see what the weapon refine will have, but this is already an amazing start for Celica. And also, having attack speed menace is obviously an amazing skill, especially for something in arena. I believe she had attack speed oath 3 originally. I would have preferred attack speed oath 4, to be perfectly honest. I think that would have made it a lot more flexible, especially in arena where you really would like to have that mobility. But attack speed menace definitely works in a pinch. Obviously, it's not just Celica that got a remix, but Mila as well. And Mila now has Dragon Wall 3, which is interesting. I don't know about this. She originally came with Sabotage Attack, and I think I prefer Sabotage Attack. Like, Mila's not supposed to, you know, get into combat or like tank. She's supposed to support and lock down dancers, so I'm not entirely sure about this, but hey, I guess it's more fodder if you need it. But the interesting thing is Mila Turn Wheel 3. I mean, Mila's Turn Wheel 2. At the start of turn, grants foe cannot make a follow-up attack to unit for 1 turn, and inflicts isolation and guard on foes in cardinal directions with defense less than unit's defense through their next actions. So, this is really interesting because the deny follow-up effect is just to herself. It doesn't give it to any allies or anything like that, so again, it's trying to make her more tanky, which I don't know about, to be perfectly honest. I think she needs to have like a crazy weapon refine in order to make that work. But we'll see. Otherwise, like, besides isolation, you also inflict guard, which I guess is really nice. I'm not sure how useful that will be. I mean, I guess it is useful in order to like apply guard to a lot of nukes that might need that to proc their specials. So in that sense, if you're running a tank, like already you're locking down dancers and you're making it more difficult for the enemy defense to proc specials. So all in all, this is definitely a very good upgrade. I mean, Mila, I think, was already really good, but this definitely does help her support even more. Does that make it better than Asker or Ashe or Peony, though? I personally don't think so. I think I prefer those three. as of now, like, obviously we don't know what the weapon refine does. Hopefully it's more supportive. If it's not, then yeah, I'll stick to those 3. And obviously we still have the turn +1, so it's still 8. It didn't increase to like +2 or anything like that. But yeah, obviously those remixes were super cool, but that's not the coolest thing. The coolest thing is the Divine Codes 4, and oh my goodness, this batch of codes is absolutely amazing. Like, as you can see, all of these are amazing fodder units. Obviously you can't see it right now, so I do have a graphic from the one and only Phoenix Master 1. Again, thank you so much for the graphics. And yeah, as you can see, we have a lot of good fodder options available to us. So let's go through them one by one. Starting with 3 houses or 3 hopes. We start off with Winter Manuela, who has Winter Rapier, Attack Speed Form 3, and Special Fighter 3. Honestly, not the greatest fodder. None of those skills I think are really worth using in the current meta. Like, for a sword, you definitely want the Arcane Sword. You definitely want a better A than Attack Speed Form. And Special Fighter 3, we did get Special Fighter 4, I believe, so I guess this could be useful as like a chain inheritance option. But as a skill itself, you definitely don't want to use that, especially compared to Hardy Fighter, which we'll get into later. So all in all, for the first, and I know it's like the first unit, but even so, it's 400 codes and you're not really getting anything that great, especially compared to the other 400 code options. So definitely lackluster. Now, what's not lackluster is the 800 one, the second option, which is Summer Dimitri with Attack Speed Catch 4 and Speed Def Menace. Like, what? Already on the second one, we have Attack Speed Catch 4? Still one of like the best A skills you can have for a flyer or a horse unit, especially if they're ranged. Like, that is amazing and very good. And it's only for like 1200 codes total, so that is amazing value. I think I personally prefer Attack Speed Menace as opposed to Speed Def Menace, but functionally they're pretty much the same. I think I value like the reducing attack more than the buffing defense, but you know, it's all basically equivalent. Next we have is Monica, and Monica is really interesting because she comes with Attack Speed Ideal 4 and Speed Res Tempo 3, which if you are a mage that already has like NFU and like special acceleration and you really want to accelerate your specials, then Speed Res Tempo 3 just makes so much sense and is extremely powerful to ensure your specials proc. Now, right now, we don't have a mage special, so I don't think it's as good as Special Spiral 4, but I mean, as a budget option, it definitely works really well. And as soon as we get that mage special that pierces through damage reduction, Speed Res Tempo 3 would jump in value. And of course, Attack Speed Ideal 4 is absolutely amazing. We did get this previously, so it's not exactly new, but still, very good A skill. Don't know why it's here, because like, I think Louise had it last year, and she was like the second slot, and now Monica is on third slot, but I guess it's to make room for the tempo. But yeah, very good skills indeed. Speaking of which, we have Male Shez, and oh boy, we have Speed Defense Bulwark 3, which I think is very underutilized, mainly because a lot of the units that come with Speed Bulwark, you'd want to use in the first place, you don't want to fodder them. And it's just such a powerful denial of like mobility option against your enemy, especially in something like Summoner's Duels. It's super annoying and can definitely like help checkmate your opponent. So yes, Speed Defense Bulwark 3 is amazing. Honestly, you also could just put that onto Flame Lin and go to town with that and be a very good like Omni tank. And of course, Attack Speed Oath 4 is the best C skill for speedy carries. Like, most C skills are supportive in nature, but Attack Speed Oath 4, of the ones that are more selfish, is the best option, because not only do you get like Attack Speed +6 as a visible buff, you also get Attack Speed +3 as a in-combat buff, and the Orders effect, which again, mobility is absolutely amazing, and you can definitely do a lot with it, and it's also super rare. So yeah, Shez has amazing fodder, and honestly, I like attack speed oath 4 a lot more than what Byleth has. Now, don't get me wrong, Byleth is still amazing. Like speed preempt 3 being there, like it's super rare and super powerful, but I also think it's a lot more niche compared to the universality of attack speed oath 4. Obviously, that's not all she has. She also has like attack speed catch 4, which obviously a lot of units can appreciate, and speed res hold, which very many flyers would love to have, especially mage flyers. So honestly, like it's because of all of that combined that Byleth probably deserves this last slot. And yeah, very strong option. I will say Manuela definitely holds it down, but like at least it's the first option. Next we have is Heroes and Tellius. Very interesting combination, especially considering there's only one. There's only one from Heroes, but I guess that's what you have to do. We start off with Young Ileana, and Young Ileana actually is pretty decent for a 400 option. Like low attacks res 3 is still really valuable. I mean, obviously, like most mages now want Special Spiral 4, but as you know, 400 codes, like low attack res 3 is still a good skill, and honestly pretty underrated when considering the fact that we have a lot of buffs these days that it would be so amazing to just deny them. So yeah, definitely really good as a starting option. Then we go into the 800 option with Bridal Nyla, I believe, with Sturdy Surge, low speed death. And yeah, again, Sturdy Surge, definitely a very powerful A skill, especially for the more player-phase calves and whatnot. I think I personally prefer Surge Sparrow, mainly because like speed is really important, but for those that aren't as speedy, Sturdy Surge definitely comes up in a pinch. And low speed defense, while again not the greatest speed skill these days, is still extremely useful for a variety of units. Next we have is Young Mia, and this one gets really interesting because Flashing Blade 4, we've gotten previously a lot, right? Like previously I think we had Marita with Flashing Blade 4 in like the same middle slot. Now obviously Mia does come with a lot more fodder, like speed defense tempo 3, which is definitely very strong. You can put it on Yuri if you like need to proc lethality that consistently and have an external source of NFU. But I think speed defense tempo is sort of not really used these days. Because again, the B skills these days have definitely been climbing up in value. And also, like, I'm not the biggest fan of Odd Tempest 3. I generally don't like skills that only apply on odd turns or even turns. There are a couple of exceptions, like in Aether8's defense back before Elamine, with like odd recovery and whatnot. But yeah, honestly, I think Young Mia is not exactly a great fodder option, especially for someone in the middle of the slot. There's a lot of sources of Flashing Blade 4, and honestly, you could just run Flashing Blade 3, and 99% of the time, it works fine, so yeah. Speaking of which, we have Ninja Shinon, and likewise, for a code or a manual that costs 4,000 codes, I do think this is also lackluster. The thing that sells him is definitely Deadeye. That is the thing that makes it worth, because attack speed solo 4 and low speed defense 3. While I did like low speed defense 3 when it was second, it being fourth is not that great. And yeah, attack speed solo 4, we have so many better A skills these days that you definitely don't want to run it. Like, I'd rather run a attack speed form than attack speed solo 4, because like the solo condition has been getting a lot tougher these days. And then last we have Flame Moose Spell, and this one's interesting. We have attack defense catch 4, which for the slower like calves and flyers is definitely useful. But I guess what makes him here is Dragon's Wraith 4, a tier 4 B skill, definitely very useful on a lot of dragons. But obviously it's just locked to dragons, so it's not as universal. But I do think it's, you know, decent for being 6,000. Not exactly the best though, I'd say. So yeah, that is the Heroes and Teleus path. We also have the Jugdrol path, and we start off really strong with Scion Julia. Now, attack speed push 4 is whatever, we have a bunch of those, but I guess it could be helpful on some healers. I guess Luminous Grace is fine, but that rally speed res plus that early is definitely super strong for Arena. Can't go wrong with like max scoring assist skills for Arena, especially at only 400 codes, so that's nice. Now, August has some interesting fodder. Even recovery is cool, I guess, but I personally prefer odd recovery. And like Fire Flood Balm, no one uses. Defense Res Bond 4, I don't think anyone really uses, besides I guess some armors that don't have penalty neutralization and already have guard. So I guess that in that sense that could be useful. But honestly, I think the thing that you would really want him for is Nudge. Now, unfortunately, we don't have like Warp Plus, but like healer assist skills that actually have like position effects are definitely super rare and super useful. So you probably just want to inherit this for Nudge. Now, next we have Tine, I believe, and Tine has the best fodder out of all of this because she comes with Fury 4. Oh my goodness, I need so much Fury 4 fodder. You have no idea. Like, I value Fury 4 more than I value, like, Speed Smoke 4 or, like, NFU or, honestly, even like, Deadeye or Lethality. Like, I desperately need more Fury 4 fodder because obviously Gale Force is super reliant on it. And let's be real, we've gotten so many sources of NFU these days that it's not really that worth. I guess Blue Feud could be useful to like stop Hectors and whatnot, or Ascendant Dunes, but I think there are a lot better C options, so yeah. She's mainly there for Fury 4, which, again, is one of the best skills in the game. No bias. So next we have is Ascendant Ishtar, I believe. And for a unit that costs 4,000, I don't think she has the greatest fodder. Like, low speed res 3, this costly is not exactly the greatest. And Times Pulse 3, I guess could be useful as like a chain inheritance option for Times Pulse 4. But it would have been really nice if this was like Times Pulse 4. Still, Times Pulse 3 is very helpful, but there's just so many sources of Times Pulse 3 these days, especially from like Sothis, who no one is going to use anymore. Oh boy, Sothis, what did they do to you? So yeah, and Life and Death 4 is definitely like very valuable for AoE units, but as you can see, we have Life and Death 4 on like 800 cost manual. Granted, you probably want to inherit it for something else, but still, like, what else does she have to be here on 4,000? So honestly, I think Ascendant Julia probably is the weaker of the ones here. Now, what is not weak is Ascendant Merida, because she comes with Vital Astra, which is obviously a very powerful special to just continue to have that damage reduction. And honestly, everything else about her fodder is not that great, so she's mainly here for Vital Astra, which again is super strong. 6,000 just for Vital Astra is a bit costly though, and personally I don't think it's worth, but I know that, you know, we have a free source of Vital Astra, so that is definitely going to be useful for a lot of people, so I do appreciate it being here. Next we have Awakening and Fates, and this one starts off really strong because we start off with Ninja Male Korin. And while, you know, Ninja Naginata is actually a really good inheritable, being brave and a lance, so Spiral 2 is, I guess, okay, but Special Spiral 3 is still really strong. Obviously, it's not Special Spiral 4, but for just 400 codes, you can use this as a chain inheritance option for Special Spiral 4, and hopefully Ophelia makes it through AHR, so we can have the option to inherit Special Spiral and like Times Pulse, I guess, in addition, or like the finish skills. And yeah, Special Spiral 3 is an amazing for the first option. Now for the second option, Flavia, like what is this? Like attack speed push 4 and red feud 3? Like what is this? Like I don't think I'm going to talk about this more because yeah, this is pretty bad and definitely drags it down. Now what doesn't drag down is Fallen Lilith, because she comes with attack speed catch 4. There's a lot of attack speed catch 4 fodder in this batch, I have to say. Dive Bomb 3, which is obviously super rare and still very strong to this day. A lot of offensive flyers would definitely appreciate that. I definitely would appreciate that on my Sumia. And Speed Smoke 4, obviously, just piles on that damage reduction, very rare skill. I'm personally not a big fan of Speed Smoke 4 compared to a lot of other people because of the fact that you need to get into combat in order to get that dodge effect. But for those that really like Speed Smoke 4, it's really great that it's here. Now, the fourth unit here, the fourth manual, is the best manual in the game. No bias. We have Valentine's Lucina. Like, such a good... Like, look at this fodder, even. Like, Kestrel Stance 3 for speedy armor is probably the best stance skill that you can run because you have guard and you stack attack and speed. Savvy Fighter, which is super rare, and for near saves that are speedy, it's probably the best option unless you have a perf B or you, I guess, can run Special Fighter 4 effectively. And then, of course, near save is just universally so important and so strong. Even with Emblem being in the game, like, saves are still very meta and still very common. So you definitely can't go wrong with more save skills. And most importantly, it's another merge for my Valentine's Lucina, so I appreciate that. Now last we have Brave Prom, and I guess on first impressions it might seem a bit lackluster compared to Valentine's Lucina or even Fallen Lilith, but I think this is actually an amazing last option, mainly because of infantry speed tactic. Now Surge Sparrow is definitely very nice and is definitely super strong for player phase calves and flyers that are melee. And of course, Near Trace is universally so important, especially for like melee units that don't necessarily have a better B skill. But infantry speed tactic is such a meta defining skill because it's such an easy source of NFU. And the thing is, like, this isn't limited to just being used on an infantry. You can inherit this to a flyer, most commonly like a dancer, that's a flyer, or, you know, Hatari Azura, or if you're not running a dancer, just like Bridal Catria even. And that just frees up so many things. Like, no follow-up is everywhere these days, and that is because of infantry speed tactic. The ability to run this on your generally flyer or cav support units is so strong and super broken, honestly. Like, I know Joel desperately wants so much more infantry speed tactics just due to how in demand it is. And I believe Brave Prom is the only source of infantry speed tactic, if I recall correctly. There might be more that I'm forgetting, but yeah, infantry speed tactic, again, super valuable skill and definitely a must-have if you're running an SDS or SDR. And honestly, like, the entire Awakening Fates path besides Flavia is very strong and very high value with a lot of unique but important skills. So definitely very strong path. Next we have the GBA games, and we start off with Bridal's Cecilia. The weapon and I guess passive skills are okay, I guess, but again, having a rally as the first option is really nice for arena purposes. Now next we have Ascended Joshua, and honestly, I'm not really feeling it. I guess it's good as a second option because it's relatively cheap, but again, no follow-up 3 is super common these days. Like, the previous paths have it very early as well. So you're really only doing this, I guess, for Green Feud 3, which is not exactly that important compared to like Blue Feud or even Red Feud or Colorless Feud. And Life and Death 4, again, is generally only used for AoEs, but hey, I guess it being here so early does make it pretty valuable. Next we have is Fallen Ninian, and Fallen Ninian actually is really good as a third option. Like, B-Dual Infantry 4, so many good units can use this, like Brave Lucina, a lot of the support units, Legendary Lucina, no bias at all. But yeah, like, we haven't had dual skills in as manuals for a while, so it being here with like, I guess last year we had B dual infantry 3, so I guess it's just the blue infantry units that get these dual skills. Odd pulse tie 3, I don't think it's as good as even pulse tie, so it's honestly not that good. But crossbar attack is desperately needed for like dual peony and just normal peony, and super high value for like any dancer, so definitely very valuable. And of course, in the 4th slot, just like the last path, we have another save unit. This time is Ascended Idun, and she comes with Sturdy Stance 3, probably the better stance skill if your armor is slow. And of course, Defense Res Near Save 3. Not as good as AD Near Save, just because you generally don't run into a lot of player face dragons, besides Legendary Ninian, who is honestly pretty rare, surprisingly. I think she's super underrated. But still, like, Defense Res Near Save 3 is definitely super strong still. And, you know, if you ever run into Ninian, you have that. Plus 4 res to help, I guess. So yeah, nothing much to say. Save, good. Sturdy Stance 3, good. Last, but certainly not least, we have Flame Lyn with Godlike Reflexes. Like, these specials, they're just handing it out like candy, apparently. Now, a Shield Pulse 3 is okay, I guess. And again, I'm not the biggest fan of Speed Smoke 4, but I guess it does help if you're an Omni Tank and you manage to get into combat for the first time. Godlike Reflexes, though, I think is a really good special. Again, I'm not the biggest fan of it compared to other people, but it's still a pretty good special. I wouldn't like summon Lyn for it, but as a free option, it's great. Although 6,000 codes is quite a lot, and realistically, that's the only thing you're going for this path for Flame Lyn. Like, the only thing Flame Lyn really gives you is Godlike Reflexes. So that just that for 6,000 codes seems a bit expensive, but you know, Godlike Reflexes is a desired skill by many, so definitely very good to have here. Last but certainly not least, we do have the Heroes, Mystery, and Echoes path, and we start off with Hatari Zane, I believe. I guess Dazzling Staff 3 is nice, but everything else is, I guess, whatever. Ascended Celica, though, is super strong with Infantry No Follow 3. So if you, say, have the Raphael manual that you chose Canto Control over Infantry No Follow 3, well, now there's an easy place to get Infantry No Follow 3. And yeah, super strong. Life and Death 4, again, as a second option is nice, but you probably want Infantry No Follow 3. Next we have is Spring Maria. And honestly, I think Spring Maria is not that great of an option. I guess the dual rally is nice, but attack defense push 4 is not that great. And flow flight 3 is super niche, and you never really see it anywhere. So honestly, a bit lackluster. Now, Spring Delthea has another source of attack speed catch 4. Like, that is 4 sources of attack speed catch 4. Like, last year it was the solo, now it's attack speed catch 4. Like, what's going on? Obviously, like, SR Far Trace is also super helpful. Rao's attack speed 4 I don't think is as good as attack speed Oath 4, but you know, it's still a tier 4 C skill that definitely comes in handy. And yeah, solid fodder. Not exactly the greatest 4th slot option, especially compared to the previous 2, but still useful. But last but certainly not least, oh my goodness, we have Ascended Fjorm, because she comes with Hardy Fighter and Far Save. Why is there only one Far Save? Like, we have 2 near saves, but only 1 Far Save? Like, that just goes to show IS knows that Far Save is the more valuable save. But yeah, obviously, I don't think this needs any introduction. Far Save is super important in today's meta, and Hardy Fighter is super important in today's meta. Like, you can never go wrong with more Hardy Fighter or AR Far Save, so yeah, very strong. And yeah, I guess out of all of these, I'll definitely be going for the Awakening path to get that Lucina merge, but outside of that, I personally think, you know, Hardy Fighter is too valuable to give up. So I'll definitely be trying to get Hardy Fighter fodder. I mean, I guess, and that's pretty much the path I'll probably be going for. Like, the Tellius path, I guess, is nice, but probably not really that needed for me. Like, I don't really value Dragon Strength 4. I don't really have a lot of dragons that would have it useful. Same thing with Speed Preempt and Speed Defense Bulwark 3. Although, again, Attack Speed Oath 4 is very spicy, and I would love that for my OG Lucina. But yeah, obviously, for me, I'd definitely go on Awakening. But yeah, overall, these are the paths that we have for the Divine Codes 4. Again, very strong fodder options on all paths. Definitely let me know down in the comments which ones are your favorite and which one you think you'll be going for. But yeah, definitely great batch. A bit sad that there's no finish skills or special spiral 4, but I guess that's why we are hoping for Ophelia to win. But yeah, obviously it's not just the codes that we have. We also have more additions as well. We have the limited ephemerals, and we have Fiora and Inigo. Now, Fiora does come with Guardlands Plus and Pegasus Flight 3, but honestly not that great. Spring Inigo, though, comes with Rally Attack Speed Plus, G-Dual Flying 4, and Attack Speed Rain 3, so very useful fodder. G-Dual Flying 4, I guess continuing in the trend of giving more dual skills, is very nice. I guess you can put on Brave Makai, I guess. Or, yeah, I guess. Yeah, that definitely works. And Attack Speed Rain 3, super useful for any flyer. Obviously not as good as Hold, but you do what you do, I guess. And the rest is obviously just 4 stars. And then we have the new weapon refine announcement. Where is Edelgard? They're really waiting till the last moment to have her refine. But I mean, it's cool that the Byleth got a refine for the Creator Sword. I will find it very funny if it's like just Lucia again, but for Byleth. Because Byleth was the original no fun unit. Obviously, we do have one for Astrum, Foresight, which is interesting. The legendary mythic as always, and Selkie. So super excited to see all these new refines. We have new memento events, very cool. We have Bolt Tower being updated to level 10. Let's go. Oh my goodness, I think like that's 55 damage for Bolt Tower now. Like, it's actually insane, but I love it. Like, if you watch my Aether videos, you know I use Bolt Tower a lot, so super happy about this. And then we have a new skill, Headlong Rush, which grants charge and Canto 1 to Captain for 1 turn from 2nd turn onward. Honestly, I'm not sure how good this is. I guess if you like have this on Pala, that could be useful, but like you can get extra movement besides Pala, and yeah, honestly, it's pretty balanced, I think. It's not the best skill, not the worst. But yeah, pretty good option. And yeah, Soren and Lumera will be entering the Grail Shop as always. But yeah, those are the updates for today. Yeah, definitely a super impactful one. Very exciting, especially for the Divine Codes. Once again, let me know down in the comments which code you're most excited for, which path you'll probably be going for. And yeah, thank you all so much for watching. If you do enjoy the content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell, all that jazz to help support the channel. Only takes 5 seconds to subscribe, but it truly does help us the channel a lot, and I really do appreciate all constant support. And yeah, thank you all so much for watching, and see you all next time.